Gigi here, and this is Let's Build. If this is your first time, I build a Lego set timed to different media and talk about the facts concerning the topic of the build. Today's build is the Lego Super Mario Kart, Mario and Standard Kart versus Super Mario Kart for the SNES. All footage I'm using is for science, educational, and research purposes. My content is transformative and protected under fair use. All footage is time-lapse with commentary. I apologize in advance for pronouncing names and or places incorrectly, and you'll have to forgive my voice. This is week 4 of braces. Spoilers ahead. You've been warned. Specifications of the Lego set. Gear up for a creative adventure with Mario Kart. Mario and Standard Kart. Build and play model for men, women, and any fans. A delightful collectible gamer gift for adults, this Nintendo construction set features a buildable Mario figure with a posable head and arms, sitting behind the wheel of the most iconic Mario Kart vehicle of all. Place the standard cart on this special stand, which allows you to show it at all dynamic angles as if it is being driven at a speed or drifting in Mario Kart Race. This authentically detailed buildable model makes eye-catching LEGO Super Mario decor in any fan's bedroom, living room, game room, or office. Find step-by-step instructions in the box or on the LEGO Builder app to guide your immersive building experience. The app also has intuitive tools, which allows you to zoom in and rotate a digital 3D version of your model as you build, track your progress, and save all your sets in one place. Dimensions. This 1,972-piece display model measures over 8.5 inches high, 12.5 inches long, and 7.5 inches wide. Celebrating your Mario Kart victories. For over 30 years, players have been claiming their spot in the winner's circle, setting new speed records or busting their rivals' balloons in the Mario Kart series. Was it a clever use of items that got you to win? Or maybe you found perfect lines through the tricky turns and followed them to claim your trophy. Whether you're cruising at 50cc or zipping along at 150cc, everyone who's been in the driver's seat has a few thrilling race stories to share. Now you can build a celebration of those unforgettable moments and make new ones in LEGO form. Release timeline. Super Mario Kart for the SNES or Super Nintendo Entertainment System, 1992. Debuting on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Mario Kart introduced a cast of 8 characters to the tracks for the first time. Mario Kart 64 for the Nintendo 64 in 1996 for Japan and 1997 in the US. Mario Kart 64 raced onto N64 with the new ability to slipstream behind racers, as well as introducing a new challenge in the mirror mode, where courses are flipped horizontally. Mario Kart Super Circuit for the Game Boy Advance, 2001. Sliding into the handheld scene for the first time, Mario Kart Super Circuit started the grand tradition of featuring classic courses from the series alongside new ones. Mario Kart Double Dash. Nintendo GameCube 2003. 2 racers in the same vehicle? Some might call it crazy, but Mario Kart Double Dash declared the more the merrier and introduced a system where 2 racers worked in tandem. One drove the kart while the other handled the items. Mario Kart DS for the Nintendo DS 2005. Mario Kart DS leveraged Nintendo's DS second screen to give a driver a bird's eye view of the area immediately around them. Good luck sneaking up on a rival. Mario Kart Wii for the Nintendo Wii 2008. By taking advantage of the Wii Remote's motion controls, Mario Kart Wii let up players twisting and turning of the controller help them steer their kart to victory. Or off the course. It happens to the best of us. Mario Kart 7, Nintendo 3DS 2011. Soar to new heights or dive beneath the waves. Mario Kart 7 featured a new hang glider attachment for vehicles, the ability to drive underwater, and exciting 3D visuals, thanks to the Nintendo 3DS. Mario Kart 8, Nintendo Wii U, 2014. It wasn't enough to master land, sea, and air, so Mario Kart 8 unleashed the full potential of your vehicle of choice with the introduction of anti-gravity mode, allowing you to race on the walls and ceiling as well. The design for this Lego set was inspired by the vehicle in this game. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch, 2017. Take everything from Mario Kart 8, then pack in all its DLC, and then update the battle mode. And then add 8 new characters and 48 courses. And what do you get? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Nintendo Switch. The Standard Kart, referred in the Mario Kart Arcade GP games as the normal cart, is a type of cart that appears in the Mario Kart series. Standard carts first appeared in Mario Kart DS and appeared in all Mario Kart games afterward, bearing a different design for each. Before DS, all standard carts are the pipe frame model, though the Toad Kart and the Toadette Kart from Mario Kart Double Dash are similar to the standard carts in design. Standard carts generally have balanced attributes, not usually having any advantages or disadvantages in any particular stat. In Mario Kart DS, there are several variations of the standard cart, though each has stats that vary with each character or weight class. Being a basic vehicle, the standard cart closely resembles a real go-kart, unlike other carts in the series. Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The standard cart in Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe looks similar to the one seen in Mario Kart Arcade GP DX, but with slightly more rounded bodywork and smaller engine block. Like in Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart 7, the emblem is located on the hood. In Mario Kart 8, the standard cart again tends to have an average stat, with above average airspeed and traction while having below average acceleration and anti-gravity handling, while in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the standard cart has an increased acceleration, mini turbo, anti-gravity speed, ground handling, and anti-gravity handling at the expense of decreased traction and airspeed, leading to average values in all stats. Like the Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart 7 counterparts, it has a two-stroke engine, and its sound is shared with the Pipe Frame, Teddy Buggy, Wild Wiggler, Sneaker, and Splat Buggy. All CPUs may use this cart body, often pairing it with standard tires. However, the CPU-controlled heavyweights, who have a large body frame, excluding Link as well as Pauline in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, will most likely pair this cart body with the monster tires instead. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Rosalina now uses this body with the standard tires instead, and Bowser and the Koopalings no longer use this body. Super Mario Kart is a 1992 kart racing game developed and published by Nintendo for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or SNES. The first game in the Mario Kart series, it was released in Japan August 27th, 92, North America September 1st, 92, and Europe January 21st, 93. Selling 8.76 million copies worldwide, the game went on to become the fourth best-selling SNES game of all time. Super Mario Kart was re-released on the Wii's Virtual Console in 2009, on the Wii U's Virtual Console in 2013, and on the new Nintendo 3DS's Virtual Console in 2016. Nintendo re-released Super Mario Kart in 2017 as part of the company's Super NES Classic Edition. In Super Mario Kart, the player takes control of one of 8 Mario series characters, each with different capabilities. In single player mode, players can race against computer controlled characters in 4 multi race cups consisting of 20 tracks, 5 in each cup, over 3 difficulty levels: 50cc, 100cc, and 150cc. During the races, offensive and speed boosting power ups can be used to gain an advantage. Alternatively, players can race against the clock in a time trial mode. In multiplayer mode, 2 players can simultaneously take part in the cups or can race against each other one on one in match race mode. In a third multiplayer mode, battle mode, the aim is to defeat the other players by attacking them with the power ups, destroying balloons which surround each cart. Super Mario Kart received positive reviews and was praised for its presentation, innovation, and use of Mode 7 graphics. It has been ranked among the greatest video games of all time by several magazines and organizations. It is often credited with creating the kart racing subgenre of video games, leading other developers to try to duplicate its success. The game is seen as having been key to expanding the Mario series into non platforming games. This diversity has led to it becoming the best selling game franchise of all time. Several sequels to Super Mario Kart have been released for consoles, handhelds, and in arcades, each enjoying critical and commercial success. While some elements have developed throughout the series, the core experience from Super Mario Kart has remained intact. Gameplay: Super Mario Kart is a kart racing game featuring several single and multiplayer modes. During the game, players take control of one of 8 Mario franchise characters, each with differing capabilities, and drive go karts around tracks with a Mario franchise theme. In order for them to begin driving, Lakitu appears with a traffic light hanging on his fishing pole at the start of the line, which starts the countdown. When the light turns green, the race or battle begins. During a race, the player's viewpoint is from behind their cart. The goal of the game is to either finish a race ahead of the other racers who are controlled by the computer or other players, or complete a circuit in the fastest time. There is a battle mode in which the aim is to attack the carts of other human players. Some tracks feature chevron shaped boost panels to increase speed for a brief moment. In addition, there are also short ramps that racers can use to launch themselves into the air. Panels marked with question marks are arrayed across the tracks. They give special abilities or power ups to a player's cart if a vehicle passes over them. Certain power ups, such as the ability to throw shells and bananas, allow racers to hit other racers with objects, causing them to spin and lose control. A cart that obtains the star power up is temporarily invincible. Computer players have specific special powers associated with each character that they are able to use throughout the race. Unlimited. Lines of coins are found on the tracks in competitive race modes. By running over these coins, a cart collects them to increase its top speed. Having coins helps players when their cart is hit by another. Instead of spinning and losing control, they'll lose a coin. Coins are lost when carts are struck by power ups or fall off the tracks. The game features advanced maneuvers such as power sliding and hopping. Power sliding allows a cart to maintain its speed while turning, although executing the maneuver for too long causes the cart to spin. Hopping helps the cart execute tighter turns. The cart makes a short hop and turns in the air, speeding off in the new direction when it lands. Reviewers praised Super Mario Kart's gameplay, describing the battle mode as addictive and the single player gameplay as incredible. IGN stated that the gameplay mechanics defined the genre. Modes: Super Mario Kart has two single-player modes, Mario Kart GP, which stands for Grand Prix, and Time Trial. In Mario Kart GP, one player is required to race against 7 computer-controlled characters in a series of 5 races that are called cups. Initially, there are 3 cups available, the Mushroom Cup, Flower Cup, and Star Cup, at 2 difficulty levels, 50cc and 100cc. By winning all 3 of the cups at the 100cc level, a 4th cup, the Special Cup, is unlocked. Winning all 4 cups at 100cc unlocks a new difficulty level, 150cc. Each cup consists of 5 5-lap races, each taking place on a distinct track. In order to continue through a cup, a position of 4th or higher must be achieved in each race. If a player finishes in the 5th to 8th position, they are ranked out, and the race must be replayed at the cost of one of a limited number of lives, until a placing of 4th or above is achieved. If the player has no lives when they rank out, the game is over. Points are accrued by finishing in the top 4 positions in a race. First to 4th place receive 9, 6, 3, and 1 points. If a player finishes in the same position 3 times in a row, then an extra life is awarded. The finishing order for that race will then become the starting grid for the next race. For example, if a player finishes in the first race, then that player will start the next race in the same position. The racer with the highest number of points after all 5 races has been completed wins the cup. In time trial mode, players race against the clock through the same tracks that are present in the Mario Kart GP mode, attempting to set the fastest time possible. Super Mario Kart has 3 multiplayer modes, Mario Kart GP, Match Race, and Battle Mode. The multiplayer modes support 2 players, and the second player uses the bottom half of the screen, which is used as a map in the single-player mode. Mario Kart GP is the same as the single player, the only difference being that there are now 2 human-controlled and 6 computer-controlled drivers. Match Race involves the 2 players going head-to-head on a track of their choice without any opponents. In battle mode, the 2 players again go head-to-head, but this time in one of 4 dedicated battle mode courses. Each player starts with 3 balloons around their cart, which can be popped by power-ups fired by the other player. The first player to have all of their balloons popped loses. Cast. Super Mario Kart features 8 playable characters from the Mario series: Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Yoshi, Bowser, Donkey Kong Jr., Koopa Troopa, and Toad. During races, computer-controlled characters have special items or superpowers which they are able to use. These powers are specific to each character. For example, Yoshi drops eggs which cause players to hit them to lose points and spin, while Donkey Kong Jr. throws bananas. The characters are rendered as sprites portrayed from 16 different angles. In 2005, Nintendojo called the sprites not so pretty when they were rendered at a distance, and IGN has commented on the dated look of the game. Super Mario Kart was the first game to feature playable characters from the Mario series other than Mario or Luigi in a non-platforming game, and the selection and different attributes of the characters is regarded as one of the game's strengths. IGN describing a well-balanced all-star cast. All of the characters present in Super Mario Kart have gone on to appear in later games in the series, except for Donkey Kong Jr. and Koopa Troopa, who have only appeared intermittently after being replaced by Donkey Kong and Wario, respectively, in Mario Kart 64. Characters. Super Mario Kart has 8 available drivers, divided into statistically identical pairs of 2. While subsequent Mario Kart games would classify characters based on weight class, In this game, other criteria are used. The stat presented here are derived and inferred from the manual. The bros are average drivers with a high top speed. The dragon and the lady have the highest acceleration and low handling. The showdown have the lowest acceleration with the highest top speed and weight, while the small guys have high acceleration and handling, which makes them recommended for beginners. Each pair of characters has different engine sounds for their carts, which reflect in their appearances and characteristics. All drivers also have a unique theme music whenever they finish a race with a good position. Yoshi, Bowser, and Donkey Kong Jr. are the only drivers in this game to have their own taunts when surpassing other drivers, regardless if they are being used by the player or a CPU. The others do not have their own taunts, and instead, standard beep is heard when surpassing other racers, but they can only be heard when used by the player. This is one of only two Mario Kart games to feature Donkey Kong Jr. as a playable character, the other being Mario Kart Tour, where he uses his two-dimensional sprite from this game. The Bros have standard performance, Mario and Luigi. The Mario brothers have pretty much the same abilities in kart driving. Mario and Luigi have a friendly rivalry that goes back to their childhood. You can expect a heated contest between them. When Mario and Luigi are computer controlled, they try to block your path. The Dragon and the Lady. Fast acceleration. Princess and Yoshi. At first, you might think that the princess and Yoshi would have nothing in common, except their fondness for Mario. As it turns out, they have the same driving ability. Both of these racers have very fast acceleration. As enemies, the princess will toss poison mushrooms in your path, and Yoshi will use eggs to hinder your progress. The showdown. High top speed. Bowser and Donkey Kong Jr. These two drivers have long been Mario's arch enemies. They are both rather hefty, so they have slow acceleration, but their top speed is great. As enemies, look out for Bowser's fireballs and Donkey Kong Jr.'s banana peels. These two really throw their weight around. Stay clear of them. The small guys. Good control. Koopa Troopa and Toad. Neither of these racers have qualities that make them stand out. They are, however, good all-around racers with better than average control in the corners. They do not skid very easily. These racers are good for beginners who are just learning to race. In the GP race as enemies, Koopa Troopa will drop shells and Toad will place poison mushrooms on the track. Items. Items are obtained through question blocks scattered around the tracks. When the player passes over one, it deactivates until all other question blocks are used. Once a racer passes over one, with few exceptions, they receive one of these items in their box. A banana peel. It can be thrown backward and forward. When a cart hits a banana peel, it spins out. It can only be used by the CPU controlled by Donkey Kong Jr. Green shell. When thrown forward, the green shell moves in a straight line, bouncing off the barriers that it hits. Throwing it backwards causes it to remain stationary. If a green shell hits an enemy, they are thrown into a spin. It can be used by the CPU-controlled Koopa Troopa, but they remain stationary even when thrown forward, behaving similar to the banana peel. Red shell. The red shell acts similarly to a green shell, but homes in on the target instead. It does not bounce off walls, however. It can only be thrown forward. Feather. A feather allows the user to perform a high jump, high enough to take normally impossible shortcuts and to sail over obstacles and other racers. Can be used by every CPU, cannot appear on a Mario Circuit or Donut Plains course. Mushroom. The mushroom is a more common item than the feather or the star and grants the user a slight speed boost. It can either be used to slam an opponent or drive over hazards such as sand and grass without losing speed. When using a mushroom in front of a jump pad, the jump is higher and farther. Star. The star causes the user to temporarily become invulnerable to obstacles and grants them a speed boost. Contact with other racers causes them to spin out. Can be used by CPU-controlled Mario and Luigi, but they do not receive a speed boost, and only the effect does not last as long. Ghost. The ghost turns the user transparent for a few seconds and steals an opponent's item. Exclusive to battle mode and match race. Coin. The coin adds 2 coins to the total coin count, increasing the user's overall top speed. Does not appear in battle mode and time trial. Maximum benefit is achieved with 10 coins. Lightning bolt. The lightning bolt shrinks all the racers except for the user, making them slower and vulnerable to being spun out by normal-sized racers. The effect wears off after a brief period of time. Does not appear in battle mode. Egg. Egg works similar to the banana peel, the only difference being that it does little hops. Usable only by the CPU-controlled Yoshi. Fireball. Works similar to a banana peel, but moves in a circular motion, making them harder to pass safely. Usable only by the CPU-controlled Bowser. Poison mushroom. A stationary item. If one is to run into the... okay. If ran into, the victim gets smaller, as if hit by a lightning bolt. Racers running over the shrunken player cause the shrunken player to get flattened and stunned. They later revert to normal size. If the player is already shrunken down when running into the item, the player instead reverts back to normal size. Usable only by the CPU-controlled Princess and Toad. Rivals. The rivals are expected to finish in a particular order. Super Mario Kart has a different rival system from the rest of the series, except for Mario Kart Super Circuit. The rivals contain 1 very fast driver, 1 fast driver, 1 medium driver, 1 slow driver, and 3 very slow drivers. It is notable that when one of the 3 slowest drivers gets hit, the kart keeps its pace, while when one of the faster cars gets hit, it usually resumes its previous place very quickly unless unable to catch up fast enough before the race ends. For this reason, the drivers, except for the human racer, are expected to finish in a particular order if unaffected. Also, if the player tries to hit an opponent, the opponent may jump over the item similar to when they jump over CPU-placed items. Also, the rivals are not determined in pairs, so that even if Donkey Kong Jr. is Mario's rival, Mario is not Donkey Kong Jr.'s rival. The rivals for each driver are always the same. It is possible to change the order if the rivals cannot recover their place at the end. For example, if someone is playing as Luigi and Yoshi finishes last, Yoshi then becomes one of the 3 slower drivers while everyone takes the next position up. The rivals are determined by the current points standing, meaning that if Yoshi was still second only to the player, he boosts back to the first position from the start. Non-playable characters. Characters from the series act as obstacles in the game's tracks, like thwomps, gophers, piranha plants, bullet bills, and flopping Cheep Cheeps. Ghosts do not act as enemies, but both as item and as part of the Ghost Valley track's background. As stated in the game's manual, Lakitu oversees the racetrack. He appears on the track to the start of the race to warn the player if they are going the wrong way on the course, and when they fall off the edge of the track or go out of bounds. If the latter happens, Lakitu transports the racer back to the course at the price of 2 coins. A Cheep Cheep balloon distributes the trophy to the GP winner. Big Cheep Cheep, a giant blimp-like fish that appears at the winner's circle, depositing the player's trophy before deflating away. Bullet Bill appears in match races where they bounce back and forth between two walls and causes racers who drive into them to spin out. Flopping Cheep Cheep, bouncing fish that spin players out if they come into contact with them. Ghost, background elements in Ghost Valley courses. Gopher, gophers attach themselves onto racers if run into, which cause them to lose speed and coins. Players must hop repeatedly to get them off. Lakitu, a helpful track manager who oversees the race. He starts up the race, pulls racers out of lava, water, and pits, and tells players that they're going the wrong way, and waves a checkered flag for a racer who is finished. Piranha Plant, a carnivorous plant that acts like a stationary obstacle. Players who run into them spin out. Thwomp, a hovering rock that stays stationary in the first lap of a course. In subsequent laps, they slam onto the floor in a pattern, and any racer caught in them gets flattened. Super Thwomp, flashing swamps that move identically to thwomps but cause racers to spin out on contact. Tracks. The tracks in Super Mario Kart are based on locations in Super Mario World, such as the Donut Plains. Each of the 4 cups contain 5 different tracks for a total of 20 unique tracks. Additionally, there are 4 unique battle mode courses. The course outlines are marked out by impassable barriers and feature a variety of bends ranging from sharp hairpins to wide curves, which players can power slide around. Numerous obstacles themed from the Mario series appear, such as thwomps in Bowser's Castle, the Cheep Cheeps from Super Mario World in Koopa Beach, and pipe barriers which are found in the Mario Circuit tracks. Other features include off-road sections which slow down the carts, such as mud bogs in the Choco Island tracks. Each cup track is littered with coins and power-up tiles, as well as turbo tiles which give the carts a boost of speed, and jumps which launch the carts into the air. The tracks have received positive commentary, with GameSpy describing them as wonderfully designed and IGN calling them perfect. When naming its top 5 Mario Kart tracks of all time in 2008, OneUp.com named Battle Mode Course number 4 at number 3 and Rainbow Road, along with its subsequent versions in the series, at number 1. The track themes in Super Mario Kart influenced later games in the series. Recurring themes that appeared in Super Mario Kart include haunted tracks, Bowser's Castle, and Rainbow Road. Some of the tracks from Super Mario Kart have reappeared in later games, including the Game Boy Advance title Mario Kart Super Circuit, which features all 20 tracks as unlockable extra feature. Development. Super Mario Kart was produced by Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto and directed by Tadashi Sugiyama and Hideki Kono. It began as a multiplayer prototype of the 1990 SNES game F-Zero. Masato Kimura, who worked on F-Zero, was the lead programmer. The team aimed to produce a racing game capable of displaying 2 players on the same screen game screen simultaneously, in contrast to the single-player F-Zero. This led to simpler tracks than those of F-Zero. Computer and video games suggested that this initial emphasis on creating a 2-player experience is the reason for the game's horizontal split screen during single-player. Battle mode was developed from the desire to create a one-on-one mode where victory was not determined simply by competing for a rank. One prototype featured a generic kart racer character. The team decided that characters 3 heads tall would best suit the design for the karts. They did not decide to incorporate Mario characters until a few months into development. The choice was made after the development team observed how one kart looked to another driving past it, decided to see what it would look like with Mario in the kart. Thinking that having Mario in the kart looked better than previous designs, the idea of a Mario racing game was born. Notable in the development of Super Mario Kart was its use of Mode 7 graphics. First seen in F-Zero, Mode 7 is a form of texture mapping available on the SNES, which allows a plane to be rotated and scaled freely, achieving a pseudo three-dimensional appearance. OneUp.com is credited the use of the Mode 7 with giving the game graphics, which at the time of release were considered to be breathtaking. Retrospective reflective on the Mode 7 visuals was mixed, with IGN stating that the once revolutionary technology now looks crude and flickery. Super Mario Kart featured a DSP, or digital signal processor chip. DSPs were used in SNES games as they provided a better handling of floating point calculations to assist with the three-dimensional maths. The DSP-1 chip that was used in Super Mario Kart went on to be the most popular DSP chip to be used in SNES games. The music for the game was created by composer Soya Oka, who previously composed games for Nintendo such as Pilot Wings and Ice Hockey. Reception: Super Mario Kart received critical acclaim and proved to be a commercial success. It received a Player's Choice release after selling 1 million copies and went on to sell 8.76 million copies worldwide, becoming the fourth best-selling game ever for the SNES. In Japan, it was the top-selling game in September of '92 and became a multi-million seller in '92, eventually selling a total of 3.82 million in Japan. In Europe, it was the top-selling game during the first quarter of '93, above the Sega Mega Drive titles Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Streets of Rage 2 during the same period. In the UK, Super Mario Kart was the top-selling SNES game in February of '93, and it went on to be the seventh best-selling game of '93 with more than 250,000 sales in the country. Aggregate scoring sites Game Rankings and Moby Games both gave an average of more than 90%. Critics praised the game's Mode 7 graphics. Another aspect of the game to have been praised is its gameplay, which Thunderbolt has described as the deepest and most addictive to be found on the SNES console. Retrospective reviews of the game have been positive, with perfect scores given by review sites including Thunderbolt and Honest Gamers. The use of the style and characters from the Mario franchise was also praised, as well as the individual characteristics of each character. Mean Machines described the game as having struck gold in a way that no other, not even its sequels, has matched, and GameSpot named the game as one of the greatest games of all time for innovation, gameplay, and visual style. Entertainment Weekly wrote that although the game might appear to be a cynical attempt by Nintendo to cash in on its Super Mario franchise, the review concluded that plucking the familiar characters down into souped-up go-karts actually makes for a delightful racing game. GamePro said that the game does an excellent job of capturing the thrill of go-kart racing and wraps it up in the familiar, fun Mario Land atmosphere. The reviewer also praised the use of Mode 7 and challenging CPU-controlled opponents. Super Mario Kart has been listed among the best games ever made several times. In '95, Total rated the game 16th on its top 100 SNES games. In '96, Next Generation listed it as number 37 on their top 100 games of all time, commenting that the controls are elegantly designed to offer supreme fun. In '96, Games Master ranked the game 16th on their top 100 games of all time. In 1999, Next Generation listed Super Mario Kart as number 7 on their top 50 games of all time, commenting that Imitated 1,000 times but never, ever equaled, Mario Kart changed the rules for the driving game and gave the world one of the most engrossing and addictive two-player experiences ever. Electronic Gaming Monthly ranked it as the 15th best console game of all time, attributing its higher ranking than Mario Kart 64, which came in 49th, to its superior track design and power-ups. IGN ranked it as the 15th best game ever in 2005, describing it as the original karting masterpiece, and as the 23rd best game ever in 2007, discussing its originality at the time of release. The Age placed it at number 19 on their list of 50 best games in 2005, and in 2007, Edge ranked Super Mario Kart at number 14 on their list of 100 best games, noting its continued influence on video game design. The game is included in Yahoo Game UK's list of 100 greatest games of all time, which praises the appealing characters and power-ups, and OneUp.com's Essential 50, a list of the 50 most important games ever made. The game placed 13th in official Nintendo Magazine's 100 Greatest Nintendo Games of All Time. Guinness World Records ranked it at number 1 on a list of top 50 console games of all time based on initial impact and lasting legacy. Game Informer ranked the game at 35 on their top 100 games of all time in 2001, praising how the game's Mode 7 revolutionized racing games. In 2018, Complex listed Super Mario Kart 7th on its The Best Super Nintendo Games of All Time. The Strong National Museum of Play inducted Super Mario Kart to its World Video Game Hall of Fame. Legacy: Super Mario Kart has been credited with inventing the kart racing subgenre of video games. After its release, several other developers attempted to duplicate its success. In '94, less than 2 years after the release of Super Mario Kart, Sega released Sonic Drift, a kart racing game featuring characters from the Sonic the Hedgehog series. Also in '94, Ubisoft released Street Racer, a kart racing game for the SNES and Mega Drive/Genesis, which included a 4-player mode not present in Super Mario Kart. Apogee Software released Wacky Wheels for PC, and Atari Corporation released Atari Karts for the Atari Jaguar in '95. Future games that followed the mold of Super Mario Kart include South Park Rally, Konami Crazy Racers, Diddy Kong Racing, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, and several racing games in the Crash Bandicoot series. Response to the karting games released after Super Mario Kart had been mixed, with GameSpot describing them as tending to be bad, while OneUp.com notes that countless developers have tried to improve upon the Mario Kart formula without success. Super Mario Kart is credited as being the first non-platforming game to feature multiple playable characters from the Mario franchise. As well as several sequels, Nintendo has released numerous other sporting and non-sporting Mario spin-offs since Super Mario Kart, a trend in part accredited to the commercial and critical success of the game. The Mario characters have appeared in many sports games, including those relating to basketball, baseball, golf, tennis, and association football, or soccer. Non-sporting franchises using the Mario characters have been created, including the Super Smash Bros. Series of fighting games and the Mario Party series of board game-based party games. Mario series characters have made cameos in games from other series such as SSX on Tour and NBA Street v3, both published by EA Sports. The genre-spanning nature of the Mario series that was sparked off by the success of Super Mario Kart has been described as key to the success and longevity of the franchise, keeping people interested despite the infrequency of traditional Mario platforming games. Following this model, the Mario series has gone on to become the best-selling video game franchise of all time, with 193 million units sold as of January 2007, almost 40 million units ahead of second-rate franchise Pokémon, also by Nintendo. Super Mario Kart was re-released on the Japanese Virtual Console on June 9, 2009, and later in North America November 23, 2009. Previously, when naming it as one of the most wanted games for the platform in November of 2008, Eurogamer stated that problems emulating the Mode 7 graphics were responsible for its absence. The game was released for the Wii U Virtual Console in Japan during June of 2013 and in Europe on March 27, 2014. In addition, North American users were able to get the game starting from August 6, 2014 to celebrate the 22nd anniversary of the game, which included the new game update of Mario Kart 8 on August 27, 2014. In 2016, the game was re-released for the new Nintendo 3DS. Nintendo re-released Super Mario Kart in 2017 as part of the company's Super NES Classic Edition. Super Mario 3D World has a stage with a look based on the Mario Circuit racetracks from Super Mario Kart. A remixed version of the music can be heard. Super Mario Odyssey also has a remix, when racing an RC race car around a track in New Donk City in the Metro Kingdom. Several future Mario Kart games contain reimaginings of courses from Super Mario Kart. Mario Kart Super Circuit contains all of them, though they need to be unlocked. Mario Kart DS contains remakes of the Mario Circuit 1, Donut Plains 1, Koopa Beach 2, and Choco Island 2 courses. Mario Kart Wii has remakes of Ghost Valley 2 and Mario Circuit 3 courses. Mario Kart 7 has remakes of the Mario Circuit 2 and Rainbow Road courses. Mario Kart 8 has remakes of the Donut Plains 3 and Rainbow Road courses, though the latter is only available as DLC in the original release. The enhanced Nintendo Switch port of Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, later added remakes of the Mario Circuit 3 and Bowser Castle 3 courses as DLC. Even though this LEGO set is based off the Mario Kart 8 Standard Kart, I simply had to match this build with the first game in the series. I remember going to my friend's house in middle school and playing versus matches with her during sleepovers. My spouse also played the heck out of this game as a kid too. We have all the console versions of the games in the series up to the Switch. Normally, when you complete the circuit for the 100cc on Super Mario Kart, the 150cc unlocks after resetting the game console, which is the hardest mode. The game pack itself has a battery backup that saves this data after a reset or power off. However, because how I am capturing this game footage, resetting the game actually reset the entire game. So I was unable to collect footage for the 150cc. Total build time 4 hours, 28 minutes, 14 seconds, which means you could watch the films Racing Dreams at 96 minutes, Go Karts at 102 minutes, and 70 minutes of Kart Racer. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Remember to like, subscribe, share, ring that bell, all the things for the YouTubes. Thank you.